All right, welcome to the channel. So this video is going to be about hurricanes, and I am not a meteorologist. Actually, I'm a consultant, and making this video specifically for our subscribers, mostly because a lot of clients do consulting work with us. As you know, I live on the Gulf Coast, and I live in Houston, and so we have a high propensity for very dangerous storms. So I want to talk to you all about this unusual year we're fixing to have. As most of you know, June 1st marks the beginning of the hurricane season, and we get rather deadly hurricanes. What makes a hurricane deadly is usually not the fact that it's hitting you, it's the surge and when hurricanes stole over your city. So I want to give you some fantastic examples. For most of you don't know that I've lived in Houston about the same amount of time that I was raised in Louisiana, which also gets killer hurricanes. As many of you know, back with Katrina, it sunk the city of New Orleans for 4 months and killed a lot of people. We're talking about 20, anywhere from 5 or 10 feet all the way up to 23 feet, and it put the whole city without power for 4 months. I was there during that. I traveled back to see family and help them get through it. It was a pretty big event, and so what I want to say about Katrina and the relation of this year is, when the Gulf becomes overheated like it is now, as you know, we talk about climate change. Most years the Gulf is, called a heated loop, and with that from the top going down 100 feet becomes superheated, and that event only happens rarely. This year it's happening again, and what it does is it creates a lot of heat, blows up, and then it causes these category three, fours, and fives to hit that loop up in the Gulf, and it super intensifies these storms to very, very dangerous fives. And we're expecting that this year. This year is also a La Nina, which means that it's an abnormally ocean to start with, in addition to the other unusual feature. And on top of that, of course, we have a higher propensity of hurricanes, period, now that the climate is very much changed in this world. It's a hotter world, and we're expecting some very unusual temperatures this year. One of the things that we're expecting in the state of Texas is, I was looking at the future map, we're going to hit nearly 100 every day for nearly 3 months coming up, and we're getting it light. People that are in California, Las Vegas, and other areas are going to get it much worse. Now, that's the suggested heats. We've seen up to 105. And so, the problem there is not the heat. I mean, that's a problem, clearly. But I think one of the bigger problems we face is the Texas electrical grid. All this unusual weather, right? So, you know, for y'all that were members of the channel, probably last year around Christmas time, Houston doesn't get snow. If we do, it's a laughable amount. Well, we got hit with a storm that snowed in the entire city, and it knocked out 3 quarters of the state of Texas power grid. Texas hosts three of the largest cities in the nation: Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. And so you're knocking out, I don't know, 20 million people's power. The problem we're having is clearly California and Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, all intertrading electricity. And people turn up these air units, and what we're facing now is almost an imminent crisis. It hasn't started yet, it's anticipated. When everybody starts heating this stuff up in about a month, we're probably going to face the electrical grid going down several times, means no power. About a little bit further about this, but we're trying to prepare with generators of different things. We're having with extreme temperatures, and they're not going to care how low they set their units on. They set it to icicle level, and they'll probably knock up the power grid, and we'll have rolling blackouts: Texas, California, possibly New Mexico. In addition to that, we have the hurricane season that would produce some of the most unusually powerful hurricanes that there are. Again, with the La Nina, also with the Gulf superheating loop in there, will dramatically superheat these hurricanes, and it will power up to intensities that are almost unbelievable. In addition to a year that's already going to produce a record number of hurricanes and probably a suggested value of 7 to 9 category fives. If y'all may remember Hurricane Harvey, for those who live in the Gulf Coast, We were slammed in with that hurricane, and it produced the highest level of rain that the nation had ever seen. For it, the hurricane stalled, a Category 5 stalled over the city of Houston. Now, this is a city of about 8 million people. It stalled over us in 3 days. It knocked out the power, and it stopped everything. Houston is a flat place. We actually have to cut our own ditches. We have to have dig out a water. We don't really have a way to let water out. So for a month, it shut down the entire city of Houston. So we've had all these big events, and so this year we're anticipating kind of that happening. I'm kind of letting my clients know that I'm going to get a fairly large generator, but if things go down, there will not be consults. I will warn everybody in advance that we're going to be hit, that we're probably going to lose power, and also if the event rolls out where we have rolling power outages across several states, which is they've already talking about, that's probably going to happen. We had failures during the winter, and so there's a lot of consequences coming up probably this summer. Now, as an unusual activity, there may be nothing. It may all just have been the right circumstances, but none of the hurricanes actually go anywhere. But South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas, namely the Louisiana and Mississippi border, namely Florida, namely South Carolina, and the city of Houston, because the way they sit on the Gulf, gotta love a good old school dryer going off. Namely the way they sit in the Gulf, we tend to get hit more often, sometimes up to 3 hurricanes back to back. So, that being said, we're expecting the most unusual circumstance this year. Anyways, I'm going to say hi to a few people that are live on the channel. I know this is not going to be a popular topic among most of you. You probably live up north, and your clients are members of this channel, and you might not find it that interesting. Good morning, Michelle Hyatt. NY Candy, how are you doing? And NY Candy says hurricanes are always always in the East Coast. Well, from a perspective of some of the worst ones we've seen, and you're right, the East Coast will certainly have their options on that. But we've had Andrew, Camille, we've had 10 of the most powerful hurricanes ever hit Louisiana, Houston. Of course, Florida gets hit anyways. Most of the time, it's inevitable that state gets hit. South Carolina's got a reputation for getting hit a lot as well. But all the big name storms that I can think of that have flooded, killed, and maimed, and cost billions, have hit Texas, specifically Houston and New Orleans. Not to say the Gulf Coast don't get messed up, and not to say the East Coast, Upper East Coast, gets hit by some pretty bizarre things, including nor'easters. So, but I think the purpose of the video is to let you know that if we have that event, my company may have to, you may have a consult booked, and we may not be able to speak for a week. I'm going to do whatever I can, but I can't prevent internet. If the internet goes down and cell phone towers get blown down, there's nothing to do. So I think it's a great topic to cover. Considering that most people here on the channel are talking about housing and need our services, I think we need to be well aware that we're fixing to enter a couple of months. And one of the real reasons that I made the video this time is it's not an ordinary hurricane season. It's not. It's above a highly unusual. It's an extreme year, probably the most extreme conditions that could all come together. And I just don't know what's going to happen. And so we're preparing, try to do everything we can to make sure that, look, man, you don't want to be down south. Look, it's already 105. We don't have dry weather. We have humid weather. So it'd be like you sitting in your sauna with no power. You can't breathe when it's 98% humidity, plus the heat. It's a meltdown. And then you're stuck without power for just however long it takes. So I'm not stupid. I'm getting a Jenny and a lot of gas. I'll make sure 3 things happen. The refrigerator works, the gas grill works, and a window unit. I'll install it in one of the smaller rooms, and you just kind of huddle up, get all the cats, and we have to hunker down. We do it every year, and we haven't had a serious event in Texas in a while. It's been 4 or 5 years, so I don't know if we're going to get hit big time this year. But yeah, that's really the purpose of the video. One thing I want to read you guys is So the hurricane season, we're going to be having, like I mentioned, that loop current is overheated this year, and that's taking an out of control fire and then blowing jet fuel on it. It's basically what it does. That loop current only happens about every 20 years, severely enough where it can superpower hurricanes to unbelievable amounts of pressure. So we'll see if it enters the Gulf this year. Another thing is we started the summer extremely early. We're right at the edge of 100 degrees every day now, and we're not even started summer. It's been like that for a month. When we get to the height of summer, we're going to be averaging 100 and 100 plus every flipping day. It seems like it's gotten hotter every year since I was a kid. So, Luke Kern is pretty much the 800-pound gorilla in the Gulf right now, and God help us all if a hurricane blows over that. Um, Especially when you consider when it's reaching this far north, all the way down to the Caribbeans, and the temperature maps look pretty bad for it as well. So, we'll see what happens. All right, that being said, I'll probably wrap up the video. I didn't want this to be a long one. I just want to talk about hurricanes a little bit, some interesting things. And I did survive Katrina. I've survived Hurricane Andrew, Harvey, Camille. These were all Cat 5s that hit. To be honest with you guys, you can actually stand out in a hurricane as long um, I've stood out in a Category 5. It's interesting. It won't kill you unless you got debris in it. It'll blow you around like a Barbie doll. But if you're on the coast, then it can be a problem. Although, also, let me introduce you to the new kitty. As y'all know, I rescue cats. This is one of our youngest girls, and she's doing good today. And I'm taking up her good time because I don't normally make videos on Saturdays, so she wants some attention. All right, Mimi McSwain. I live in Florida, where it used to it was. Yeah, you don't even react to how Category 4. I don't blame you. Look, you got to be a Category 5, and you got to be a slow moving one to actually scare me. And to be frank with you, hurricanes. Um, Look, unless it's going to be severe flooding where it actually destroys your house, I don't worry about it. It's hurricanes are just hurricanes. It's the flooding that actually disrupts life. And after that 4 month event with Katrina 20 years ago, I got to tell you that was pretty horrible. It wasn't a hurricane, man. It was the flooding, it was the nuts part. Um, and Mike Candy says I don't like storms. Mimi says I live in Tampa, and for some reason they just steer clear of us. It's interesting how it will pass over the tip of the Key West. Sometimes it'll go around and bounce off the Caribbeans, and then it comes barreling up the Gulf. And and the reason it hits Louisiana a lot, if you look at it, the mouth of the Mississippi is there. And just like a tornado will follow a valley, with that big river, Mississippi River, separating Louisiana and Mississippi, it seems to attract hurricanes in that spot. Florida doesn't attract anything; it's simply in the way of everything. So Florida gets hit a lot. But since Florida is a very narrow peninsula, hurricanes typically pass over it fairly quickly, but it still does its damage. So I don't know why it doesn't go higher or lower. And there's no such a thing as climate change. The reality is, we've been talking about that. And people say climate change is fake. Well, I think we all realize when it starts snowing in Houston, and every year is hotter, that we polluted this whole planet, and we don't appear to want to stop polluting the planet. And we're going to pay some consequences, or our children will pay bigger ones, and our grandchildren will probably wonder why we were so greedy. You know, we chop every tree, we pollute every ocean, we pollute all the water, we kill every animal and every elephant. And when there's just not a fucking thing left on the planet but misery, I guess that's when humans will figure out that the earth is a delicate place that we should respect. But a lot of people don't care. They simply need the newest iPhone, the biggest TV. And one day that lesson will, the consequences will be dire. And I guess we'll get on a little rocket and we'll fly to a barren fucking moon and live there and see if we can destroy that as well. At the pace we're going, I guess we're going to superheat the earth to a point where it's just not livable. So I guess, that's how it goes. All this is considered progress. And as you said, climate change fake, despite there's 2,000 of the top scientists in the world telling us that we're probably already past the line of destroying this old planet. But yep, we're going to sit on this rock. We're like little toys, this globe. We live in the atmosphere of this planet. We stand on it. We live here. We never really leave it. So we're kind of like little toys inside of a snow globe. We spend our entire lives on this little ball, and now we're going to superheat the ball, the little bulb, the little snow globe with us in it. We're going to shake it up, and we're going to burn ourselves to death. That's climate change for idiots. I hope that there is other life in the universe. That they're not taking their little snow globe and heating it up, and then polluting it and then drinking from it. We have got to be some of the stupidest fucking people in the universe. Period. We do great work and advancements, but at the cost of destroying the planet. It just blows my mind, man. Anyways, in my Candy Jane, she's so cute. Well, thank you. I'm sure she appreciates that. She's bouncing all over right now. She wants cat treats. Like cat. Florida gets a lot of hurricanes. Absolutely. Jay, is everything getting high? Is everything getting high and even rent? Well, I think the housing market has peaked actually for rents and all the other costs that are involved. But she's a busy girl. Today's cat. Come on, mama. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully y'all enjoyed whatever it is. I was just kind of talking about this and that, but I just wanted to warn all you guys for consulting work through the summer. We're probably looking at some perilous times. There's a lot of heat, a lot of hurricanes, probably looking at a lot of fires, and probably going to have a lot of problems with electric grid. And I think it's probably going to affect other parts of the nation as well. There's too many people on this planet. There's not enough. Our old electrical grid in the U.S., we haven't done anything to upgrade it in 100 years. So we'll see what happens. It gets hotter and hotter, and we need colder and colder air. And our infrastructure in this nation is really dated. So, all right, I've enjoyed talking with y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. Tomorrow, we're going to be making a video in line with the topic of Section 8 consulting and housing and so on. So, anyways, enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.